So this is from Alex Jackson.
Alex Jackson. Hello, Alex.
You spoke about being let down by Ric Flair when you met him. So why?
Can you show everybody your Ric Flair tattoo that's watching?
I think
you did it last time for my humor.
It's there.
Is it there?
Yep. He's there. It says woo. I'm not going to be offended. Whatever you have to say about Ric Flair.
Let down. Well, my Ric Flair story, it's kind of a continuing on thing. I couldn't understand, like, I've worked for, like, Georgia Championship Wrestling, NWA, 87, 88, 89, and he would come through, and I've seen him, always seen him around. I mean, maybe he didn't know who I was or whatever, but then there was all the years through in and out of WCW and WWF when I was married to Luna, this and that. And I think the key word, married to Luna, might have been the key word. Like, literally, I'd be in, like, an airport in North Carolina, and I'd see him, and I'd go to walk by in Charlotte, because he would turn his shoulder, turn his back to me. I go, well, maybe he didn't see me, but he saw me. He saw me. And then I couldn't figure out why he would do stuff. And then they did stuff like the round table. And a lot of people call me back, wow, what'd you do to Ric Flair? I go, what do you mean? He goes, he would talk about Edge and Christian and say, my feelings don't get hurt. I didn't understand. Well, a little bit, they get hurt. But he'd be like, Edge and Christian are tremendous talents. I don't know who this Gangrel is or where they found him. And,
He said that?
But yeah, he would do stuff of that nature. I don't know the exact wording, but because people would call me, and I didn't see it myself because I didn't watch it, but people would tell me that. And I believed it. So I don't think they were lying. They might maybe exaggerate the words to try to get a little something out of me or something. But with all that being said, it's just, like, it was always just weird. He just, like, never shake my hand or make eye contact. And like I loved Ric Flair. Like, my favorite things about Eastbound and Down, if you ever seen that, so they mock Ric Flair, Will Ferrell. Yeah. But I go, he deserves it. Woo, 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 woo. Whatever. I'm sorry. But so here we go. Fast forward. Bing, 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 bing. Many, lots of years. Australia. I worked with the Samoans, Rikishi, and Reno and Hawaii, and a production company, and they ran the Australian tour. And this is one of the tours I tell you, like, I was part of load-in. I booked all the underneath matches. I didn't handle the Flair Hogan stuff because that was the Flair Hogan Australia tour. Okay. I didn't handle that, but I booked all the other matches underneath that because they did their own thing. Hogan wouldn't do the tour without Flair. He had that Flair on it. So it's like the first night in, and I had the girl I was married to at the time. She was on it. She did some stuff. She wrestled, we just. It's been a long day. Like, I'm telling you, I'm handling, like, load in and booking the matches. Like, it's a lot of load on me for a guy that's just a wrestler, and go from being this guy that loves to wrestle show up to, like, this responsibility of all this on this major tour and these big stadiums, which was great. It was cool. And it was a learning experience of a lifetime. And I thank Reno and Rikishi all for the experiences, and all the Samoan family. Really, they really helped me on the business end of everything. Understand stuff like branding and marketing and all that stuff. So tremendous. Can never give them enough props for all that. But as we move on, she wanted to go eat. We were eating, and we had one glass of wine, and I was tired. I really wanted to go to bed. And she's like, "Oh, can we go?" Because it was like a vacation to her. It was work for me. It was like vacation, and we're going to the bar. And I could hear him in there. He's drinking and raising hell. He's in there sitting with a group of girls, and he's like, whoo, and I can hear his typical stuff. You've heard all the stories.
He's wooing at the bar?
He's wooing at the bar.
Okay.
He's wooing at the bar, so I don't even want to go in there. And she goes, just one glass of wine. All right, so I go in there, and Brian Christopher was a friend of mine. And I was worried about it. I hadn't seen him all day. So we get in the bar. Flair's back in the back corner. I'm sitting up in the front bar, and then there's the back corner, like, I want to say like a VIP, but it's a little dark section back there. It's him and like 5-6 girls that were, like, I don't want to say divas, but they were, like, on the tour for something to bring cars out. They're part of promotions and stuff. And but he's back there and doing his thing and talking loud. And Brian comes up to me. And I go, Brian Christopher, he's I hope he's in peace. I miss that guy. He's a little wild and crazy, but I miss the heck out of him. And he comes up, and I go, Brian, where you been this whole time? He pukes all over my shoes. Now, I was mad that Brian puked on my shoes because they're brand new Nikes. It's like, man, I just got these for this trip. Like, it's like day 1 or 2 into the trip, I got puke on my brand new Nikes. So whatever, but my girl was there, and I said, hey, because she was friends with Brian. She loved Brian. I said, can you get Brian upstairs and let Reno know? Like, I'm going to do some damage control. Let me clean this up real quick because it's our tour. like, we don't need to start it out with like one of our wrestlers for whatever reason. He said he was sick, but I don't know what caused it, but he was missing all day and he puked. And then Ric Flair comes out of nowhere and he's like, grabs her. Woo, little lady, you need to sit down there. Nobody tells you what to do on my watch, or something ridiculous to that nature. Like, I can't get the exact words, but he touched her and sat her down. I was like, all right, dude. Like, and she's like giving me the look, like, it's okay. Because I'm like, I got puke on my shoes. I'm already hot about the puke on my Nike. So like, and I'm like, and he's always like ignored me and did stuff. So that kind of sits there like a little chip. And he's back. So I'm like, so I ignored it. And I'm cleaning up puke, not my puke. I'm cleaning up somebody else's puke. Puke on my new Nikes, and I'm hot. And next thing you know, like, Reno came down. And it's Rikishi's cousin, Reno White. He was running the tour. He takes Brian upstairs, and she's just sitting there like whatever. Like, I think she was praying that I wasn't gonna get upset, you know. And then so I'm mopping up puke. I'm cleaning up puke. I'm just sitting there. And you guys, I know you can't see me, but I'm acting like I'm using a mop here. Yeah, I'm using a mop. So and next thing you know, I look over, he's got like Shannon Moore and some of the younger guys that they used out of Cali, some of the local guys, and they're all lined up on the bar, and he's cutting promo. You're lucky to be on this tour, blah, 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 it's my tour. Well, he doesn't know that Hogan begged for him to be on the tour anyway. We didn't want him on the tour. But he's like, this is, blah, 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 you should be grateful. And then he turns me around and pokes me in the chest, and you never was, or something. I'm like, I'm looking, and I looked over her, and I know she's like, no. And I go, no, you old mother. And she laughs, and everybody laughs because they never see me so mad, but say sir after everything, because I respected his work so much and what he's done in wrestling. Like that's why I said never meet your idols. I've crushed you sometimes. So I was like, F you, sir. I was paid 3 months ago for this. I don't even got to be here. I could walk out now. You need to pay your taxes. And they started back. I started shoving him across the room. And Eric Bischoff and the Nasty Boys are there. And Brian Knobs knows me, and he's calling Bischoff easy. He goes, easy. Hey, Dave's going to hit him. Dave ain't bluffing. I've seen Dave go. Dave's crazy. And then but I back him all the way back up to that private little area it was from the bar, which is a good 30. It's back of the bar. And I'm just driving him back. I will whip your, blah, blah, blah. And he's sitting down on the thing. And I feel bad because I got him sitting in a chair and I'm just poking him in the face going, I'll kick your ass. Come on, get up. And he's like, I ain't getting up or something. And the same thing like Mark Merrill said to me when I was going to go off on him. But that's another long story. But there, then Eric Bischoff's going, Dave, come on, man. And it'll ruin the tour, you know that? And I'm thinking in my head, I haven't blacked out yet. I was just pissed. And I wasn't blacked out fighting mad, or I would already swung, And then and Knobs is like, come on, Davey, come on, Davey, please. I'm like, F this guy, man. But I called him sir in between every cuss word. I said sir. So you can hear such a vulgar language, and I said sir, And I told this story on Roddy Piper's podcast, and if you ever listen to it, and Roddy Piper go, he's an asshole, but he's my asshole. You can't just be picking on him no, he's so whatever. And then I go yeah, you know what? It will ruin the tour, and I just thought it's not worth it, And then I kind of just pie-faced him a little bit and walked off, And then I went out. Needless to say, I was in a drinking mood, and then I went out. And Australia never sleeps. You can drink all day long, all night long, and into the next night. So I went out, and I came back in at 7, and I had a meeting at 11. So I laid down. And I made breakfast. I got back up 9:30 to make breakfast because I had to go do a meeting. And I remember Hogan was there, and he's like, hey, buddy, you all right? And he had Ric Flair come in and give the weakest apology there was. But I accepted. But he was mad the whole time. He didn't want to do it, but the whole thing. So I learned that for one, you should never put anybody on such a pedestal because I don't know. You should value yourself. And when you look in the mirror, not even judge yourself, really. I mean, if you're religious or stuff, they'll say only God can judge you. You're just human, right? You make your mistakes and you move forward and you learn from them. So I learned, don't put other people up there. That's like a false, you don't put them up there so much because you're going to get let down. They can never live up to what you build people up to in your mind, the greatness, Granted, not if wrestling, he runs the same exact match every time, but it's not a bad match. He's never, he doesn't have a bad match. He cuts a hell of a promo. And I'll still watch old Ric Flair stuff and be like, wow, you know, I get that look. And even though it's the same match, but I learn from it each time something, because it's a different person he's wrestling in that same match. So how did he get that same match but with a different person and get the best out of that person? There's so much to learn. So much to learn. So he's not off my watch list. He's not off my watch list, but he's like, I don't think, yeah. So so it was a long tour because that was the very beginning, and then I had some other stuff go down. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of that in a very short version. But don't get me wrong, I'm wrestling wise, I'll still watch Ric Flair stuff. I think I've already said that clearly. But as a person wise, I was super let down. But I've heard I'm not the only person who's done stuff like that too, or this or that. But you know what? That 2 hours I slept, and the next night after that, I slept like a champ. I slept so good because it was years ahead. There's like weird stuff going on that I didn't understand, and it's like, poof, it's off my chest. I go, you know what? I'm glad I didn't waste any money on counseling. I just needed a few finger shows and a few sirs with the FUs in between across the room. And I didn't know I'd feel so much better. But other than that, I've seen them after that here and there. No handshakes, no hugs, but mutually stay across each other from a room. But yeah, I was bummed. I mean, I know you had Ric Flair. I was bummed because I was like Ric Flair, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, you know, all that. Wheeling, dealing, kiss, you know, I was a big fan. And then unfortunately, you know, my fanboy in me got crushed a little bit, and it's probably why I don't openly mark out is a word, I guess, or openly fanboy out for people, because I'm scared of getting crushed. So I rather, you know what, I just want to know you what I want to picture you as over there. Let me keep it in my fantasy league in my head, my fantasy world.
No, I think that's fair, especially, you know, like being in the convention world. Sometimes not everyone is what you expect them to be, and sometimes people surpass your expectations.